Aynte, thank you so much indeed for your time. This really is a very significant moment. And how much longer before they choose the next president?
Well, we're all hoping that the process takes about 4 to 8 weeks. Sometime in June, they should be able to elect the next president. Before that, the bicameral parliament would have to elect its leadership. That's the speaker of each of the houses of parliament. But we still have about 20 or so MPs who are not seated yet, who are not elected, and there is a slightly more of a controversy around them. I mean, remember, this has been going on for a year and a half, so we're all very delighted that we've arrived at this milestone today.
How have the disputes between the country's top leaders affected the process, and do you think that they will continue to do so even when the parliament and the senators are at their full complement?
Oh, of course, this was a protracted conflict between the president and the prime minister for about a year and a half, and it contributed to an incredibly long delay. I mean, a year and a half, I don't know of any other electoral process in the world that takes that long. Good news is that now we are about 90% there. And of course, we're still not out of the woods yet. In fact, 16 out of the 20 or so MPs remaining are very controversial. And a lot of them are controversial and also sort of deeply political. How they are supposed to be elected. And we anticipate a slightly more of a bump in the road.
Do you know if anybody who is already considered to be a possible front runner for president, and how difficult will that job be? Of course, everybody knows about al-Shabaab's terror campaign over many, many, many years. The current numbers, though, in terms of the humanitarian crisis are scary. 4.5 million people needing urgent humanitarian aid, 1.4 million children under the age of 5 being severely malnourished, 350,000 on the brink of famine.
Yeah, those are very tragic statistics, but those are also the reality on the ground. Unfortunately, for the past 2 years or so, the whole nation was distracted by this protracted electoral process, and it certainly contributed to the deteriorating humanitarian situation on the ground. At the moment, there are about 25 or 30 people running for the presidency of Somalia. Only about half a dozen of them have actually a realistic chance of winning the seat. But no one really knows because only 329 members of parliament are voting, and there is no polling. So it's very difficult to say who's going to win. But whoever wins will, in fact, inherit one of the most difficult jobs in the world. You've already laid out the humanitarian disaster that is facing the country, but you've also got a security situation. Al-Shabaab has essentially clawed back to much of the country, including the capital and most other regions. The foreign relations of the country with a lot of the neighboring countries and so on is very much difficult. So it is going to be an extraordinarily complicated job for whoever wins.
Abdi Aynte, thank you so much indeed for talking to us on TRT World.